What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the spot where we kick back and react to all kinds of different things. So today we're going to get into some casual geographics. So this dude, a lot of people know about him. He has a huge following at this point. I first found him on TikTok. Saw a couple of his videos. They made me laugh. He's got hilarious commentary and it's really informative. So we're going to check out this new video he's got, and then, as always, probably go through his catalog of YouTube vids. All right, so this one is called "One Mistake Cost This Pelican Everything." Let's see what he's got for us. Usually talks about more than one topic, so let's see how many he touches on right now.
This video contains gore. If you're sensitive to that, just scroll off. I promise you I won't think any less of you.
I'm good on gore. What you got?
I'm only making this video to remind you that this specific animal does not play around. So we know that pelicans are big bird with a vor fetish that'll attempt to swallow anything that isn't nailed down. Well, this pelican tried an animal that it thought was a fish, only for that animal to do this. I'm gonna give y'all time to comment. Just what animal do you think did this? I got your guesses in? It was actually a turtle. The turtle managed to clamp its jaws on a pelican and tear its beak pouch completely. Now for context, some turtles allegedly have jaws strong enough to bite through a broomstick, which also means they can probably leave you with less fingers than you were born with. Now I can't really say for sure what kind of turtle did this, but since this happened in Bharatpur, India, my best guess is that it was a giant soft shell. I only say that because soft shells are known for being hyper aggressive, trigger happy, and just overall phalluses, but if you watch Gumball, you already knew that.
I love that. I mean, look at that. Jeez, he ate through both sides of his, like, completely ripped his jaw out. That's crazy. Don't mess with them turtles, man.
To the pelican, I ain't even gonna lie to you, he definitely starved to death. Moral of this video, nature's stupid.
The hell?
You ever go to a pool party and there's that one person that refuses to get in, so some comedian decides to throw them in the water? And instead of making a scene, they just make that awkward, low-key heated walk back to their chair. That's what this reminds me of. Anyway, that's
That's funny, because I've seen that happen to people. Get pushed in when they don't want to be, walk away all pissed off. Oh, this is like a perfect representation of that too. Oh man.
Puberty. That is what an underage king penguin looks like. That fluffy brown coat helps keep them warm, but it's not waterproof. So while both his parents go grocery shopping in the sea, the king penguin chick stays behind and lives off the fat it's stored from having to involve parents in its life. So chunky by design. Gets to the point where the chicks can end up outweighing their own parents. Plus, being an absolute unit protects the unaccompanied minors from threats like skuas, petrels, and sheathbills. 3 birds that could have kept Happy Feet from a sequel. After about a year, the chicks go from walking brown balls of fluff to their waterproof, more dynamic adult versions. This gremlin's just what an awkward teen face looks like.
So wait, as children they grow as big as their parents and get all fluffy, and then as they mature they... the more you know. Interesting.
Duckling arc, but with a dash of Danny DeVito. Now that you know he's basically a teenager, rewatch that video and tell him his attitude makes a lot of sense. You know ants are like low-key psychopaths. There's a species of ant that will enslave other ants to get free labor out of them. Ants like the Ants like Protomagnethus americanus will invade the nests of weaker ants and slaughter any soldiers that try to step to them.
What was that name again? Protomagnethus americanus. Interesting.
Ants like Protomagnethus americanus will invade the nests of weaker ants and slaughter any soldiers that try to step to them. Sometimes even to the point of putting the ant queen on a shirt. Then they break into the nursery, kidnap as many larvae as possible, and take them all back to their own colony. You see where this is going, right? When the snatched up minors become of age, they become slaves to the host colony and the parasite queen. These slave ants get finessed into working for the colony that stole them and possibly erase their entire family. Some slave ants will care for and protect the colony larvae, even though they're a whole different species. And some of these ants will even join their kidnappers on raids of other nests. And because the ants were technically born there, they have no way of knowing that their entire existence is a lie. Or at least, that's what you would think. Because some of these slave ants do turn on their masters, and they rebel by obliterating as many of the colony's eggs as physically possible. Yeah, they Django that shit.
Oh, damn. Oh, best movie reference for that scenario. Best movie reference for that scenario. Oh, man. Straight up Django that shit. I hear that one more time.
And they rebel by obliterating as many of the colony's eggs as physically possible. Yeah, they Django that shit. In some cases, the abducted ants knock off more than half the host colony's eggs. It's like if instead of Candyland, Jamie Foxx TNT to daycare. Yeah, being an ant is way more
Damn.
dramatic than you think. It's like Game of Thrones, but with less dragons and more dirt and probably better writing. And if you ever wanted to know just how ants live, the ants.
God damn, you roasting. Roasting. Rest in peace, final season of Game of Thrones.
Ground Kingdom is the world's first ant colony strategy mobile game. You can hatch and breed.
Slipped in the ad. Okay.
They've been nicknamed cow killers.
Cow killers.
Based on the very much personal favorite, the Banshee Panda, which is actually based on the very much real-life panda ant, which isn't a panda or an ant, it's a type of wasp. A wasp with a sting so painful they've been nicknamed cow killers. More proof that pretty privilege will in fact get you everything. It got Ted Bundy a Netflix special, and it got an oppressive Oreo and Ant's job. But they're still cute and they're still somehow in this game. Not only that, but because the
it's still the ad. You faked me out.
Very first ants to help make sure your army is the strongest army. Download the Ants Underground Kingdom using the link in the description on Rent or Chick-fil-A. This might be the one time I can say it's not as bad as you think. That is a baby Andean condor. It's basically a venti-sized vulture. They're the largest birds of prey, but they eat mostly animals that have already expired, which makes the fact that they can have a wingspan of nearly 11 feet way easier on my mental. Also, they have one of the longest lifespans of any bird, with some surviving up to 70 trips around the sun. And because they have a huge wingspan and fly over heat thermals, this Jurassic Park understudy can spend hours in the air without flapping once. And if they didn't have the same meal plan as a coffin, they'd be a fucking problem. Especially since they have a pretty good reason to want beef with us, since we destroyed most of their habitat and nearly poisoned their entire population into a pack. So to help this dinosaur from becoming a history lesson, people would raise condor chicks and help get them ready for the wild. And to keep them from becoming too attached to humans, handlers would feed them using hand puppets that look just like their parents. And even though we nearly knocked them off the census today, they're vulnerable but no longer endangered. If you still think this is scary, it's because I didn't show you the end of the video.
That's adorable. Hell.
Now, see, the thing is, there's a reason he did that, and it is 100% our fault. So baboons live in troops that can have up to 200 members. That's with 2 zeros. And in baboon society, it's the highest ranking baboons that get to eat first, which is why the lower ranks often get pocket checked by the bigger, meaner, dominant ranks. Now the problem with that is because of the way baboon society works, any human that feeds a baboon is automatically seen as really low in the caste system. And if you mess around and feed a bunch of them, you're basically seen as the dirt under their social ladder. So after being fed by humans so frequently, some baboons will see all humans as low ranks and expect people to feed them off principle. Which a lot of people do because y'all don't listen. Like, there's signs up everywhere, but y'all become Helen Keller to common sense when a phone's involved. Humans as low-ranking monkeys. If you don't hand whatever food you have over, they can and probably will square up with you. And those are problems neither you or your health insurance want any parts of. Because they have the honest-to-God power to eliminate Face ID as an option for you permanently. Did you know kangaroos have been known to ask humans for help? Research has shown that kangaroos are smart enough to try and communicate with people to get them to do them a favor. Basically, there was an experiment where a kangaroo was given a clear plastic container that it could see had food inside. After the kangaroos would try and fail to open the boxes, they would then go to the human that put it there and kind of just nudge at them and even scratch them lightly. Kind of like a toddler trying to get his mom's attention. Also, they would do this while making eye contact with the human and also looking down at the container, kind of like, ain't gonna open itself. And the kangaroos wouldn't stop doing it until the person eventually opened the box for them. It might not seem like much, but we used to think this would only happen with animals that were domesticated, like dogs, goats, and horses. But in this experiment, 10 out of the 11 roos would stare at the person that put the box there when they realized they couldn't open it themselves. Nothing was wrong with the 11th, he was probably just an idiot. But yeah, kangaroos are pretty...
Damn, gotta roast the animals too?
What was wrong with the 11th, he was probably just an idiot. But yeah, kangaroos are pretty cool. When they're not trying to reverse baptize you.
Mystery green forest snake floating in a swamp in Thailand.
The hell?
I just want to say I appreciate how life works. I download a Chinese clock app for fun, and then something out of the Grinch's sex drawer goes viral, and now it's my job to talk about it. Anyway, that's a water snake, specifically a puff-faced water snake. It's found in Southeast Asia, including Thailand, where that video was taken. Now, they're mildly venomous, and they use it to catch prey. Which means they're ambush hunters that'll wait for fish like guppies or catfish, just to catch them slipping. And as ambush hunters, that means they can be posted up in the same spot for hours. It's kind of like snapping turtles. That and the fact that some snakes can hold their breath for the length of a Netflix special is how all that moss eventually grew on this snake. It's the same reason sloths end up becoming a welcome mat for moss, because they move just about as much as one. Also, I know I said venomous, but not really enough to be a threat to your way of life. So Sparknote's version, mildly venomous aqua snake wearing a moss jacket. Or the Grinch has a very active and questionable love life.
That's funny.
The way y'all made me feel like a fraud for 30 seconds. Cause I legitimately thought this might have been real and just managed to never see it before in my life. Come to realize this is the equivalent of amputating a person, giving them gorilla arms, and then hitting them with a shovel. Either that Krabs or Mrs. Puff took their relationship to a very f***ed up level. But I will say this might not be real, but this is a fish called a sea robin. They're bottom feeders that evolved 6 crab-like legs that they use to walk across the seafloor as they look for food hundreds of feet down in the crotch of the ocean. Not only that, but those legs help them track down prey, since they're sensitive to the amino acids produced by the animals they like to eat. Basically, imagine having an extra leg with a built-in food GPS. Also, they apparently croak like frogs when they're out of the water. Imagine being the first person to ever see this. Nobody believe you and you'd probably get checked into rehab. God done dropped some DLC, and this time it's a shiny. This is actually an albino nutria.
I'm a Pokemon reference. Oh man. I hear that one more
This is
time.
actually an albino nutria. It's either a travel-sized beaver or an economy-sized rat because it's stuck in the weight class between those two. They can weigh nearly 20 pounds, they're usually found in or near water, and they're one of the most destructive forces in nature because they can single-handedly destroy a wetland just by being themselves. And since female nutrias can get pregnant literally the day after they add more names to the roster, birth control is just a myth to them. They're considered an invasive species in North America, Asia, Europe, Africa, basically anywhere outside of South America they're considered illegal. But the only reason they're there in the first place is because they were introduced there by fur farmers. Basically, we brought them here, they started doing too well, and now we're mad that they're here. Ain't that anything? Stop what you're doing, I need y'all to hear about this thing I just learned about. This is a macaque. You gotta be real careful how you pronounce that. Barbary macaques are endangered with only about 8,000 of them left in the world, which is why it's important for zoos to get them to multiply without a calculator as much as they can. Which is also why the Stafford Zoo in England hired Marvin Gaye to sing his greatest hits to them in an effort to get the monkeys in the mood to...
What?
Okay, it wasn't actually him, it was just a very committed impersonator.
Wow.
An impersonator that sang Let's Get It On to a park of endangered monkeys to get them to fornicate each other. That is a sentence, I just said it, and it's completely factual. Now, we know the joke actually worked until late spring and early summer, since that's when macaques tend to give birth. But it's the second funniest thing a zoo ever did to wingman an animal. Playing videos from Panda Hub to get the Oreo bears to touch each other will never not be number one.
Wait. I did not know they did that. That was hilarious. Videos to pandas to help them get it on. Hiring a Marvin Gaye impersonator. Oh man, the ridiculousness of this world. Alright, well, that's it for that video. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like. Of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see me react to. And I will see you guys next time. Alright, so till then, take care of yourselves. I'm out of here.